So normally the premise of my negotiation guides would be to talk about how much of a discount to be getting off of a vehicle. In this video, what I'm going to be talking about is how close to MSRP you should be getting on the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade, and why it's such a nightmare to lease it, not to mention buy it. If you're in the market for a Hyundai Palisade or a Kia Telluride, what I want to do for you in this video is lay out exactly why it's such a nightmare right now. I'm going to be referring to inventory, the lack of incentives, how much a lease would cost you on one of these vehicles, and by the end of this video you'll know exactly what you're up against if you're in the market for a Palisade or a Telluride. What is happening, guys? Ari here from Boston Automotive Consulting, and by clicking here or the link in the description below, you'll be able to connect with local area dealerships to start shopping around for the very best price on a Hyundai Palisade or a Kia Telluride. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, because this whole channel is going to lay out everything you're going to need to know so that you can negotiate your best possible deal. You guys, let's get down to business. What we're seeing as far as inventory in the United States is about 2,300 Palisades and 1,786 Tellurides. Compare that against its immediate competition of 6,890 Honda Pilots, 2,836 Subaru Ascents, 3,710 Toyota Highlanders. I thought Subaru and Toyota were having trouble with inventory. Kia and Hyundai can barely keep these vehicles in stock. A lot of these vehicles that are in stock, that are showing in stock, some of them are in transit, and some of them are even spoken for before they even hit the lot. So chances are, I'm saying 2,800 and 1,700 as far as inventory, but chances are it's way less than this, because most of these vehicles are flying. As far as trim by trim on the Telluride and the Palisade, what we're seeing on the Palisade is 1,018 SELs. This is a combination of all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. 451 limited, 879. So definitely target the SEL if you're looking for the most commonly in stock and also one of the lower priced ones. As far as Tellurides go, on the lower end, there's less inventory. 181 LX, 304 S, 668 EX, 633 SX. So definitely EX would be the way to go. However, that's a higher priced Kia Telluride. You guys, what we're seeing is, as far as how much dealers are listing them for, you're going to find a higher markup on Kia Tellurides than you are on Hyundai Palisades. If you were to browse dealer listings across the United States, you may find that the Kia Telluride, some dealerships are listing them with a $15,000 markup above what Hyundai says is the MSRP, the full price of the car. Whatever the window sticker price of the car is, the dealerships themselves, some of them, a few of them, are listing them as high as $15,000 over the MSRP, and that's on the Kia Telluride. On the Hyundai Palisade, a lot of the dealerships are listing them between $5,000 and $10,000 above the MSRP. The idea is to find a dealership that will sell you one of these vehicles at or as close as humanly possible to the MSRP. The reason being is that, yes, these vehicles do have a very high residual value. However, there's no incentives. Typically, if you're buying a car at MSRP, there's incentives to help offset some of the depreciation that's taking place. Now, most of these vehicles are 2022s that you may be looking at as inventory that's in stock. So you're definitely ahead of the game. However, closer to 2022 and in 2022, you want to try and get this car for MSRP, or hell, even less. However, that's not likely. Right now, Hyundai, Kia, they're not offering any incentives on the Palisade or the Telluride. However, Kia is offering a 1.9% promotional APR at 60 months. On the Telluride, no incentive. On the Palisade, members of the military and first responders, obviously, you guys do get a few $100s in incentives. Now, what I want to talk about is why the lease is such a bad idea on one of these vehicles. These vehicles hold their values very, very well. What I'm referring to in particular is the residual, the 3-year residual on the lease, very, very high, especially on the Telluride. The average residual on The Palisade is 64% for a 3-year, 36,000-mile lease, and 72.5% on the Telluride. Typically on the more popular trims, it's a little bit higher. Now, you might think, okay, the car doesn't depreciate that much. That might make for a very, very good lease, because in a lease, you typically only pay the depreciation. However, in this circumstance, that's certainly not the case because of a different component in the lease, which is the interest rate, or the APR. And I'm going to break down the calculation and why you need to do this calculation for yourself on every single lease. And let's dive right into it. So the money factor on a lease is the interest rate, and the money factor on the Palisade leases is typically about 0.00175 and 0.00245 on the Tellurides. This is at the current moment. This is definitely going to change soon, and it's been way less in the past. However, because of current circumstances, this is the case right now. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, well, what does this actually translate to? Well, let's look at it. Among the more popular trims on the Hyundai Palisade, we were seeing the SEL all-wheel drive as being one of the more popular trims. Let's say I used $44,625 as my MSRP. I got it for MSRP. I managed to leave the dealership only paying just the MSRP, nothing more, nothing less. And the lease came out to $551. These are using actual rates and residuals. Now, $551 broken down, the actual breakdown of the lease payment is such that $421 a month is the actual depreciation, and $129 a month is the finance charge in the monthly payment. That's essentially $15,000 is the depreciation, and $4,600 is your finance charge on the 3-year lease. That's a lot, you guys. Now, on the Kia Telluride, what we're seeing is an EX all-wheel drive as our most popular, $44,810 as being our MSRP, and just hoping for the best that we get MSRP and plugging that in, $541 as our monthly payment. Now, guess what, you guys? On this lease payment, $348 is the depreciation, and $192 a month is our finance charge. Basically, $12,547 is our depreciation on the lease, and $7,000, $6,937 is our finance charge. That's absurd, you guys. Do not lease a Kia Telluride or a Hyundai Palisade. Try to buy it at the lowest possible interest rate. Try to buy it at MSRP. Now, as far as what they're actually leasing out for on the Hyundai Palisade, you're going to see these lease payments. And on the Kia Telluride, you're going to see these lease payments on average. These are just ballpark estimates, just hoping for MSRP. This is assuming that you're putting your taxes and fees due at start. This is assuming 12,000 miles a year. And really, you guys, anything above MSRP, if you get, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 above the MSRP, for each 1,000, add in $27 per month to the monthly payments. Now, you guys, I really, really do hope that this information was helpful. And what I want you to do is log on to negotiationguides.com to connect with local area dealerships to start shopping around for the very best price on a Kia Telluride or a Hyundai Palisade. And if you found this information useful, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.